So it wouldn't be the worst idea just to go into the reds.
Foul. Robert Milken 7. Joe Perry 4.
Well, I don't quite know what that was for. Well, these are terrible, terrible scenes here at the Crucible. Everybody trying to enjoy the snooker. I've never seen anything like this in 25 years of watching or working on the Crucible Theatre snooker. And we will now have a significant delay. Joe Perry and Rob Milkins managing to see the funny side. A packed arena on a wonderful night at an event that is always played in the greatest of spirits. So much history, so much prestige and so much nostalgia. But we will have a huge delay here. John Parrott, I am just about speechless.
I can't actually believe what I've just seen. I actually cannot believe it.
For the players.
This is going to be a massive disruption. And, well, honestly, what are people doing these days?
That's Mike Ganley, the tournament director, who's leading Joe Perry and Rob Milkins away. We will obviously bring you an update as soon as we possibly can. But play has come to halt in the most extraordinary of circumstances here. John Parrott and I are just about speechless. Mike Ganley, tournament director on the arena floor, is furious. He's just gone off. He's no longer in shot. He has taken the perpetrator's belongings backstage. He has been taken off by security. And bear with us, the crowd are obviously being as patient as they possibly can be. Play has also come to a temporary halt on table 2 because clearly there's been a huge amount of disruption and noise in the whole arena. So play has been suspended this evening, John, and I can barely believe what we have just witnessed.
No, I've never seen anything like it, and I hope I never see anything like it again. It is absolutely ludicrous what's just happened there. And you know, the funny thing is, I don't know whether they're going to be able to carry on with play on this table. I really don't. I don't know whether they can hoover it off or whether it can be hoovered or what. We may not have a session here. I don't know.
Alan McManus made a point that Sanjay Anguilla scored more points in this match than Mark Allen. You do occasionally get that where... Oh no, some idiot is on the table on the other side of the arena. More than one idiot, actually. Oh dear me. What are they doing? Let's hope that table 1 hasn't been damaged, because the guy who jumped on the table was right on the cloth, Joe.
Yeah, and I think he threw a lot of... I don't know what it is, but it looks like some kind of chalk. We'll have a look at this now. Look at that. Well, that's the end of that, I think.
What on earth motivates behaviour like that? Whatever the cause, whatever their opinions, nothing justifies behaviour of that nature.
Situation. Okay, so you go back to your dressing room. Okay.
So Olivier Martial very calmly asks the players to go back to their dressing room. What a shock it must be for referees, organisers, players, and even the crowd, because I'm in the commentary box, and Joe, I'm shocked and I'm appalled.
Yeah, absolutely, I am too. I mean, we didn't actually see it, because we're commentating on this table, the Allen and Fan match. But I think somebody jumped out of the audience, threw chalk and dust all over himself and stomped all over the table.
Well, the person who was trying to attack our table had got one word on the T-shirt I saw, was stop. Thankfully, they were stopped, but not before they did an awful lot of damage. Let's go back to the studio.
Yeah, well said to our commentary team there. I have to say, one of the reasons I absolutely love snooker is the community that you have, the fans. We all love the sport and support the players. Jimmy, you don't often see something like that in snooker.
No, we've seen a few streakers over the years, but this was some sort of process or some protest, I don't know. But if that table's damaged, it's going to take a few hours to recloth that, to get that table back to playing conditions. So, I don't know, it's going to mess up the whole schedule. Shocking.
And especially going back to the fact that Fan is a Crucible debutant. I mean, the chances of this happening are, I mean, I can only think of a few occasions. Jimmy mentioned a couple of them there. What would now be the process? So does somebody need to assess the table before they decide if it needs to be recloth, or is it just an immediate decision?
Yeah, obviously, first of all, they'll have to assess what is it a liquid, is it dust? It's very difficult. We've had this sprung on us, obviously, and they'll have a 5 or 10 minute assessment of what it is. If it requires a new bed cloth and new cushions and whatever, it will be at least a couple of hours.
Wow.
You know, that would be the immediacy of it, would be at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. Maybe they would have cushions that have been recovered, ready to go, so to speak. I think they actually might do, but it'll be a couple of hours.
I think what they'd have to do as well, they'd have to maybe pull the dividing wall up and,
yes,
let the crowd watch the other match on the other side, and probably do that, fix that cloth, as Alan said, take a few hours, fix that maybe during the night, and just reschedule the game, because you know, you've got fans the other side and this side who've paid all this good money to watch this match.
And Al, a very specific question, putting you on the spot. If you don't know the answer, more than understandable. What would happen to the frame score? You've interrupted a frame. Do you forfeit the frame? Would you... I mean, it'd be a tough ask for the referee to now put all the balls back where they were, because that effectively could affect the outcome of this match. 6-4 is very different to 7-3.
Yeah, well, obviously technology now, I'm guessing that we'll be able to not superimpose, but we know where they were pretty much,
right,
exactly. So the referees will be able to do that eventually. I was just thinking, and I'm only surmising, Thursday we have no morning session. So if we need another one, that could be a possibility. But that's, you know, this has been sprung on us. We obviously don't know.
And just mentally, Jim, especially if you're a fan, I mean, Mark Allen's as hard as nails on the table, there's no question of that. But you're ready to play, you're focused, you're a professional sports person, you've played a couple of shots, and you're already back in your dressing room.
You can't get prepared for that, can
right,
you? You know, it's just like, it's just unfortunate. It's a shocking situation, pointless. But, you know, hopefully it doesn't affect Fan in future going forward. You know, I hope he can get that out of his mind for the game. Joe and Rob, they won't be too bothered. They've been around too long. But, yeah, I think the stop-start situation, when you're ready to go and play a match and all of a sudden you've got to stop for a reason like that, would be confusing for that young lad.
Well, one thing that young lad would love to do is he'd love to potentially go through to round number 2. What?
He's
commentator,
I
MC.
see him driving a bus the early one today.
He's got the marigolds on as well.
Go on, Rob.
Fair play to him. And there's our table fitter there, the actual
Chris
guy.
there, yeah.
And listen, for me, I think this table's going to be OK. I don't know whether they're going to play on it tonight, but it definitely looks like, you know, I don't know.
I know what you mean, Jim.
Yeah, it's coming together. They probably need a more powerful Hoover than the one they've got there.
I'm going to chuck it out there. I mean, Rob goes on an almost 3-hour marathon, that lad. He's as fit as a fiddle. He'll be there giving it the old Eve Muirhead on that thing all night.
Listen, you know, as we said, you know, the snooker, we're all family, you know, we all pitch in, you know, and them security guards, they were really quick there. They look after everybody all year round, and, yeah, it's a shame. It really is a shame. As you said, first time people are coming, and they won't forget this in a hurry.
They absolutely
For
won't.
the wrong reasons.
Let's just drink in those pictures of Rob Walker. I mean, he really is a man of many, many talents, and already you can see about half the table is done. Fingers crossed things will get underway very, very soon. But the reason we're obviously wanting to see action get underway is the quality at the Crucible has been absolutely first class. Now, one of the people, in fact, Alan tipped to go all the way and potentially lift the Silver Lady, which would be for a 4th time, putting him amongst the absolute elite of the snooker world, is Mark Williams. He played Jimmy Robertson, and a quick reminder, at the end of the first session, he was trailing 4 frames to 5. Things did change when he played the man from England, so let's remind ourselves of how that second session took place. Now, that obviously, for obvious reasons, was a couple of hours ago when Mark Williams came into the studio and spoke to us, and a little update for you and for him if he's watching at home, that unfortunately we've had a very unprecedented situation because we had a protester, 2 of them in fact, who managed to get forward, get onto the floor, and as you can see there, the remnants, actually, I mean, look at that work there. That is unbelievable. So we had 2 protesters who came on. One managed to throw what we think is some kind of coloured chalk that perhaps you'd use in religious festivals, and we feared might have damaged the table, and that's the table there of Joe Perry and Robert Milkins. We were very much looking forward to the 2 friends doing battle here. Joe Perry, who came here by way of a very emotional qualification process against Mark Davis, who actually knocked him off the snooker tour, who was going to be going to Q School to get himself back on that. But the upshot is Joe Perry is now playing Robert Milkins. Talking about Joe Perry, here's what he said to Rachel ahead of his match.
Joe Perry, semi-finalist 15 years ago, and the 17th Crucible appearance for yourself tonight. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all right, yeah, looking forward to it.
You came through the drama of Judgment Day. Rare do we say you had an agonising win to get here.
Yeah, definitely, that's how you would describe it, actually. Yeah, it's probably the least happy I've been about winning a game of snooker. Obviously, I put my good old friend into retirement. Well, maybe not, he might bounce back, you know, but yeah, it was one of them. Yeah, been happier.
Your play, Rob Milkins, player you played back in 1997. You've been going together, the 2 of you, for a long time. He was quick to remind me about the record he has against you.
Yeah, I think it favours me quite considerably. Yeah, we've played a few times over the years, and I've normally got the better of it. But you know, he's having a great season. So you know, head-to-heads don't really count for much once you're out there, and he's had a fantastic second half of the season. So he'll be confident, I'm sure.
Do you think it's easier at the Crucible to play a player that you know their game, you've played them many times before, you kind of know what to expect?
I don't know, really. It's the Crucible, isn't it? You know, you just want to hope to go out there and settle quickly and enjoy the occasion, and then it doesn't really matter who you're playing. You know, just as long as you feel good in yourself, that's all that really matters. Yeah, I'm back here, so I'll just do my best to enjoy the experience.
You said that before the Welsh Open. It's never going to happen again.
Exactly. You just don't know, do you? You know, snooker's such a tough game. It goes in peaks and troughs sometimes. You know, confidence plays a big part. And if you're feeling good about things and things go your way, who knows what can happen?
Well, in Joe Perry's very long career, he turned professional in 1992. I'm not sure if even he has seen anything like this. And the bad news for Jimmy White at the moment, he's actually got a Chinese takeaway sat behind the camera, which is getting colder by the second. Jim, devastated.
Mate, we're getting used to our cold food here, but what can you do?
Go on, Jim. Just a quick update as well. So it's now become a police matter, and for safety reasons, a couple of the players are being kept inside their dressing room, although we have it on very good authority, and this is like precision German engineering. If they say it, it's going to happen. Play will be continuing, we hope, in about 3 minutes' time. That was the moment when the protester managed to get past the barrier, and you can see the response of the security team jumping over and immediately evicting the man. To his eternal credit, it was a peaceful protest. He didn't hurt anyone or anything like that, but not what we want to hear. And this is the moment Mark Allen initially found out about what was going on the other table, and then obviously we see a protester I can only presume had the same intention but didn't react as well. I think probably her watch was about 45 seconds slower than the other geezers. So
it's all very unfortunate. I'm looking at the referee there, Olivier Martil. He gives up his precious time to come over here from Belgium. He's a nurse who looks after people day in and day out. Any holiday time that he ever takes is to come here and serve the people of the Crucible and serve our sport. And he's the one dragging that lady off the table itself there, which is pretty shameful, quite honestly. You know, guys like Ollie Martil are all about looking after people, and And it's a sorry affair all round, actually. Yeah.
Rob Spence got involved there. He used to be a policeman, so he knew what he was doing there. So fair play to him. It's a horrible situation. Looks like they've sorted the table out, though. That's good news. Yeah.
And well said, Al. That's a really important point, that he's taking holiday. So he works as a public service. He gives back to his own country. He comes here because of the love of the game.
Ollie Martil, I can't remember the tournament, but just to touch on him, he's a wonderful guy. He's been refereed the final here a couple of times, I believe. And he gives up, not so much gives up his time, he takes his holidays away from his actual job, which is looking after the health of people back home in Belgium. And he comes over here with those holidays to serve our sport, basically. For, and sometimes they get scant reward and scant praise. Not from myself, actually, because I praise these guys quite a lot, and they deserve it. So it's, that's one element to it. And obviously there's a lot of them that is wrong about this. But, the guys and the team on the floor there will do all they can to get play underway. And let's hope that they can get play underway on table 2, and maybe the curtain comes up and the patrons can enjoy some snooker. And
to touch on a few essences of what you said there, it's a sad moment in this sport. As in, you can see the cleaners, you can see lots of people there, and there's a sense of, this is such a shame.
It's needless. If you want to protest something, do it in the correct channels. Don't come and impinge and impact on people who are trying to enjoy something. Life's about enjoying these things and sport, and our sport does a lot of good. We've got charities, the Jessie May Trust that we support, and that's what our sport is all about. So if you want to channel your complaints or something, do it in the correct areas. Don't bring it to our doorstep, because we don't need it, and more importantly than that, we don't deserve it.
Yeah, well said, Al.
What we're going to do, as is sometimes the tradition in this fabulous arena, this great divide is going to be lifted. So we will temporarily, once again, become a one-table arena. If this match finishes relatively quickly, Mike Ganley, the tournament director, will talk to Rob Milkins and Joe Perry, and between them they will decide if it is appropriate to restart their match on that table. But of course that will be dependent on how quickly this does or doesn't finish. So the divide's going up. At the very least, you are going to see the conclusion of Mark Allen against Fan Zhengyi. If that match finishes quickly, Rob Milkins and Joe Perry will be over here as well. So we are about to recommence. I will reintroduce the players. And hey, Mike, you're going to lift this. Mike, can we get this lifted now? Sorry, please. Hello. Right. This is totally, obviously, totally unprecedented. The most important thing is that no one's been hurt. And our great tournament is about to resume. Now, how about when we get these players back out, how about we send a message with a standing ovation that we will not be stopped for anything? I will get my jacket and await instructions. We are going live again very soon.
We believe, fingers crossed, that we're about 2 minutes away from getting the players back out on one side, certainly. So that's the Fan Zhengyi and Mark Allen match. Now, you can see that the divide on the wall has been put up there, and Rob Walker, not only has he managed to clean the table, but he's now getting the crowd G'd up and ready to go, because I think this is going to be the sort of entrance that we're never going to forget. If we cast our mind back to the Masters, when we had Mark Williams and John Higgins in Ali Pali in the semi-finals there, it was one that really did something special. I think this will be exactly like that, and whilst we'd love to be watching snooker, we will forever say, do you remember that moment when there were those protesters and the players came back on? Now, the plan as things stand, we'll see Mark Allen and Fan Zhengyi make their way onto the table. Crucible. Depending on how long it takes, then Joe Perry and Rob Milkins will then follow onwards. That's obviously at their discretion, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we have anything for you. But this is a moment in history in the Crucible and a moment in history for snooker. So the fans are all taking their seats now. They're getting ready to get behind each and every single one of these players as they come out. Fan Zhengyi, I'm sure when he told his family he'd managed to make the Crucible, he had not a scintilla of an idea that anything like this was going to happen. Yet here we are. We're about to see the players come out, and what an ovation this will be for the world number 3, Mark Allen, who at the start of the season was in the form of his life, the highest world ranking he's had in his career. 2 Triple Crown titles he's got, the Masters and the UK, but never the world. How much he would love to get this underway. And what a story it would be if we're sat here in 15 days' time, whatever it might be, and we say, Mark, do you remember how it started for you in this campaign? It started with protesters, and it's ending with the Silver Lady. Stranger things have happened, and stranger things have happened at the Crucible. Now, Rob Walker is like a frenetic Energizer bunny running around here, getting the crowd ready and raring to go. The security look happy. The officials are happy. The cameras are in place. And that camera that's facing the steps mean that the players are ready to go out. So we can hand over to Rob, I think, to bring the players out in an unprecedented fashion. If it's a little bit ropey, we do apologise. Such is the nature of this bizarre situation.
Oh. Ah. Apparently we weren't live, but we will be soon. Let me know.
Now, I'm not sure if you could pick up what Rob Walker said then. He said, thankfully, we weren't live. Now, he clearly hasn't got his subscription to the Discovery Plus app, which is obviously worth every penny. I'd encourage you to get that and get ready to witness something special as the players come out for hopefully the final time.
A standing ovation. We've witnessed already this evening a disgrace. Let's hope the rest of the night is pure pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
It seemed like a while ago. It was. Allen at the table, 30 points ahead.